Welcome to Mid 10 Friday Night Football, the Reporter Show. I'm your host, Coach Lombardi, and we have the experts. We have Jeff Big Nasty Neal from the Murfreesboro Post, and we got King Charles from the Williamson Herald. Welcome back, King. So, Jeff, oh my gosh. Okay, you remember the first time I called Reedy or Reedy?
Reedy, yep,
You
yep,
remember that the
yep,
first
yep.
show? Well, last week I called Jeff. I called Keith Jeff again. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was all over the place. So, anyways, Keith Reddy is a little bit under the weather right now. So he'll be joining us next week. But we'll get his picks next week. So, anyhow, we had an incredible week, right? Some
Oh,
craziness, right? I mean, I had a game that I went to on Friday and I didn't finish it up until Saturday. And I'm sure you guys were on that. So, Big Nasty, Jeff, why don't you go ahead and share with us where were you at?
I was at Siegel at Stewart's Creek Friday night, but all the games in Rutherford County except one, the Rockwell Laverne game, they moved them back to six because they
Yeah.
want to try to beat the weather. So that's what they did. Of course, I got there. I didn't know it was 6 o'clock. I got there late, but thank goodness the game was 0-0, and nobody scored nothing, so I didn't miss nothing.
Yeah.
So, but it was they played until about 6 minutes and I think 40 some odd seconds in the second quarter, and they had a lightning delay, which was like 6:45, I think. It's the
Mm,
first time they had light. So it went about 2 hours, and I don't know, about 9:30, close to it, they got started again. And
okay.
then they played about another hour or so as they got to halftime. They had a real short halftime, and they played all the third quarter, and they started the fourth quarter about 2 minutes 45, something like that. And about 10:30, they stopped again. They had
Mm,
light. So they come up there. One of the guys talking to the guy on the phone. He goes, "Well, we gonna try to get this in. If we can get it in. We might wait another hour and get in." But the thing about it was they really couldn't do that because the ACT test was Saturday. So some of them kids had to take the ACT. Is what it was. So
That's
they
an
so, so
important thing to
they
talk about. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so they waited about 30 minutes. I was in there with some referees. They waited about 30 minutes after a little after 11 o'clock. And they come in there and they go, okay, we're gonna come back. So they came back Saturday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and finished it. So they
okay.
was going around, these referees was going around now. One of them was going down and they was pointing fingers. They go, are you gonna be there? Are you gonna be there? They know if they's gonna be there. Are you gonna so they all said they's gonna be there. So they all got there Saturday and they end up finishing it. And it's going to be about 35 minutes to finish that. And so Stewart's Creek tied. It was 15-7 when they stopped. Siegel was winning in the
Yeah.
fourth. Okay, Stewart's Creek, the first play, they run a little sweep, and guy got it in, and they cut it to two. Then they went for two and tied it, 15-15. About 9 minutes to go. So
Yeah.
they played and played, and so Siegel stopped Stewart's Creek. They sacked Taylor, that big Prince of Yawafa, that monster, 6'7", about 315. Everybody, every case of junior, every major college, look at Ohio State, Tennessee, and all of them. He sacked Taylor, and they forced a punt. They got about the 40 some odd yard line, 3, 4. So they started methodically going down the field. And Albia is their main running back. They ran 11 plays. He ran 10 of them. He had 10 carries, about 39 foot like that. They got down inside. I kept thinking, okay, if they can get inside the 20, they can win this thing. That field goal, that Tabia, he's got a rate, he get the 35-yarder jamboree. So they got down inside the 20, less than 5 seconds ago. Stewart's Creek called timeout to ice him. Well, that didn't do any good. It was a 28-yarder. He nailed the buzzer, and Siegel won 18-15.
That was actually one of my surprises, and you kind of ruined it all for me because it was really a surprise. We'll talk about it later. But all right, King Charles, what did you have? Where were you at?
Oh
Or where did you
gosh, where
start? I'm sure you went to a couple different places.
where do we begin, man? I mean, Friday was such a mess. We were chatting offline before we got started here. So there was actually a great cross country meet Saturday morning. The Voiles over at the Hermitage. It brings all the Middle Tennessee State and beyond, and it's just so great to have everything there. But with thinking of the way the Friday was supposed to be, my day was a mess, guys. I don't even know where to begin. Like I just wanted to go watch some good football, and I had a couple great games to go. Saturday ended up working out pretty well because I started with Brentwood and Summit. I got some Nolensville and Overton. I was gonna scoot over and see well, no, wait, let's see. Now I'm trying to piece it all together. The game I ended up covering was the Brentwood Summit game and the BGA and Pearl Cone game.
Okay.
So I did a 2-for-1 after all the chaos, but when you think of the biggest takeaway for me for Friday night was I was going to watch some Centennial and Gallatin. I was going to watch some Page and Hendersonville, and those are two games that got completely wiped. And one of my other shows, we talked to Paul Wade at Brentwood Academy. Brentwood Academy Baylor was one of those circle Division two
Yeah.
AAA games that we just wanted to see that game to see where BA was. Baylor is obviously one of those contenders, and to not have it. These are senior high school football players that lose a tenth of their season. You're only guaranteed 10 games.
True. Yeah.
And when you think of actually having that full cancellation, yes, we got to talk about Saturday being so important because of the ACT, but it's just one of those. We had a lot of casualties this week. I think in Middle Tennessee, roughly a third of the games ended up going that way, where you just don't get to play them, and that's just a bummer. And we had some fun opportunities for Saturday, and the ones I got to be at specifically Summit at Brentwood and Pro Cone hosting BGA.
It
Great
definitely.
games.
I went to Forest High School, right
Mhm.
there in Chapel Hill. I thought it'd be kind of cool just to. We drove past it on our way to Marshall and said, "Oh my gosh, that's a school." Didn't even see it. So contacted them and we said, "Let's just go." I noticed that they
Mhm.
had a game against Mount Pleasant, which is both pretty good. So they moved the kickoff up early and kicked off at like 6:15. The game was good. The Forrest has a really good running back. He's a sophomore and give you credit, Big Nasty. You had talked about him, Quincy Mitchell. That kid's the real deal.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wow. And he scored on the second play, just boom, broke it. Like, wow, okay, yeah, this kid's pretty good. And then a little bit of back and forth. And then at about a little bit more than the first, probably about maybe a minute left in the first quarter, they called it, right? Lightning and all that stuff. So went on it, had about a 45 minutes, an hour, right? Then went back out. Then the game, when we took the break, it was 7-7, right? Came back out, and then it was going back and forth, and it was a good game. But they would Force would drive down, and then Mount Pleasant would take a big score, run the kickoff back. It was just a quality game. The thing that was interesting is they were inside the gym for like about an hour, came out, warmed up, and then the second quarter went over like that. It was like almost like a running clock. It went so quick. And then they called halftime. I'm like, what do you guys do? I mean, it's like they were just in there for an hour. Why are we? They had to, I guess by rule, they had to go in for like 10 minutes, 10 or whatever it was. I'm like, that's crazy. Well, come back out from halftime, right? And they get going back, and it was a really good quality game. It got up to where Forrest went down and they kicked the field goal to go up 24-21. And Mount Pleasant had the ball and they were driving. They got it right across midfield. They came down to a third and 4, right? With 4 minutes left, and they called the game. They said, "Hold on, I'm like, are you serious?" The people in the stands were like, "Let them play." It was like the bad news bears was playing. It's like 4 minutes and 41 seconds, and you're like, they're driving 3rd and 4, and they called it, and they said, "Okay, well, we're going to take another delay." And I'm like, "There's no way." This is when it really started coming down. So then they rescheduled to 5 o'clock, right? Yes, yesterday. So what was funny is because the Rockville Laverne game kicked off at 2. I'm like, well,
Oh yeah, yeah.
let's just go. And we filmed that one and got it in just in time and jetted over to get the last 4 minutes and 41 seconds. And it was really unfortunate that it ended that way because Mount Pleasant did have momentum. They just picked up 2 first downs, were across the 50, big 3rd and 4, and then Forrest comes out on that 3rd and 4 and knocks them out 2 plays in a row and runs the clock out.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it was a good game. Just it would have been great to piece it all together in one place. So it was a really good atmosphere for what it was, right? Because the rain knocked out probably half the people that would have been there. So Coach Palmer seemed like a really cool guy. The other coach, great. I would love to go back down there. So somebody had mentioned try to get I can't say the name, Sequatchie. Say,
So why'd you get Dunlap?
yeah, something like
Dunlap.
they have a good rivalry
See
game.
Dunlap.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna try to
Right.
make the trip down there just because I think it would be great. So that was my
Yeah.
thing. All right. So what about the surprises? All right, King, let's go to you first. I mean, aside from the wackiness, was there any kind of surprise that stood out from a game or performance, whatnot?
You want me to go?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah, go
can.
ahead. You're King,
Okay.
King
Yeah.
Charles, man.
So the game that really kind of stood out. I got to talk about this BGA Pearl Cone game because Pearl obviously so tested coming in. They're playing NBA. They fall just short. That's a 17-14 game. They're within a touchdown of CPA on the road at CPA. CPA is such a great team. That battle, Coach Ingle Martin, Tony Bernetti, those guys they schedule these games on purpose because, when you play such a challenging schedule, it makes you better. BGA was set to host Friday night against Pearl. And because of all the rain, they got their grass field. The
Mm,
game got moved to 5 p.m. on Saturday at Pearl on the turf instead. And Saturday afternoon was a great game in the Nashville area. I mean,
yeah.
when you think about we had sunny weather, we had all this stuff. It was great. It was 14-3. Um, gosh, about 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and then BGA did BGA stuff. I mean, this is a talented team from top to bottom. It is super impressive. You got your veteran leaders, you got your young players. Caden Maribel coming back at quarterback, a Mr. Football finalist in D2 AA last year. He is a stud, threw for more than 3,400 yards last year.
Mm,
He comes in, he's got young receivers stepping up. Maddox Porter, he's already been offered. He's just a freshman. You
mm,
could find him on all these different lists. Max Curry, another great guy. Fletcher Fields filling in. They're just playmakers out there. 14-3 turned into a running clock before the end of the half at Pearl.
yeah.
And that's just something you don't see very often. It was 35-3 at the break, and they put on three touchdowns in such a hurry that like if you blink, you miss something. But that just showed how good and explosive this team is to have so much back. And you got to talk about the defense up front too. Nate Fleming right there on the line. He's a Columbia guy. Caden actually is headed to Columbia with him. So you got roommates future. Columbia football has a bright future. You got one of the best QBs we've had in a while coming through, and then a great defensive lineman coming in there too. These guys are set up, and to see what they were able to do at Pearl was just impressive. It ended up being a 42-17 final, but BGA handled that game, and I just hadn't really seen them put it all down like that. I mean, it was an incredible finish, and that was impressive. That's what stood out to me most. And there was so much going on.
Yeah.
So that was a good one in Nashville.
Let me touch let me touch base on the Pearl Cone because I wanted to spin a look because they have Oakland coming up and
Yeah,
it's not like okay, well, hey, let's just go to Oakland.
the
I
road's
mean,
not getting easier.
it's and you're thinking it's like part of it is yeah, you want to get playoff ready. You're all I mean, I'm sure the coach is just thinking we're looking to November. That's what this front end of the schedule is. But then how much would you say really? I mean, Pearl Cone is legit. I mean, they're obviously legit. How much of it could be maybe fatigue? Like
Yeah.
they've been in such good games, and I don't want to say like, like Alabama, schedules little sister of the poor, just because sometimes you need to have a relaxed game, right?
Mhm.
Where to get up for what that was their third game in a row, and then they got Oakland coming up. It's like, how much of that do you think would have been fatigue, versus if they would have played like later in the season? Do you think it would have been the same result?
Well, you see, something about that kind of stood out too was again, I'm talking about we were 5 minutes left in the second quarter. That's
Mm,
when BGA took control
can't
and
believe
literally just swiped it and boom, 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 big explosive play after explosive play, making defensive stops on top of that. If we were talking, that kind of break maybe in the third, sometime in the second half, I could lean that way a little bit. But this truly was BGA just being like, hey, this is ours now. And by
Okay.
the way, we're going to run away. And that was just a statement game for these guys, and that was so impressive to see.
Yeah.
They host a team all the way from Connecticut coming up, and then they go into a bye week, and then we have a Division Two AA Middle Region showdown against FRA, and
Hmm.
I really, I think they take control of that. I haven't got to watch FRA yet this year, but I think whoever wins that kind of leads into everything here because those are the state favorites out of that one.
Big Nasty, what do you got, man? What was your surprise?
Well, and it's not really a surprise, but Blackman Riverdale, they got their game in. Blackman won 17-10, a huge win for them.
Yeah.
They're 3-0 now. I believe that's right. And
Congrats
with
to
Siegel,
Matt. He got his first win against Will.
well, in a while, yeah, it's a couple years, yeah. And Riverdale's got a big game this week with Laverne. They can't afford to go 0-2 in the region. And I guess, but the Oakland Summerlin, of course, they only played a half, but Oakland took care of them. But not really too many surprises. I don't think I didn't see too many. I mean, and I think the region of Pembroke County was just really competitive, and I think Siegel's going to be a surprise in the region. They're 2-1 right now. They played three straight road games. They went to Cookville, they went to Lebanon, went to Stewart's Creek. This week is their first home game. They play Smyrna at home. It's
Mhm.
homecoming for them. So
So,
they've got a home game. And I think them in a couple of weeks, not this week, but next week, Oakland plays Stewart's Creek at Stewart's Creek.
mm.
That could be a really
Mhm.
good ball game. So I
So,
think Stewart's
Mhm.
Creek's really good. They're 2-1 now, I believe. So that's a really good. They've got Rockville this week. So that Rockville. But I was going to say too, Andy, that I know that Rockville and Laverne game, they moved that to Rockville because of the turf. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, with Rutherford County out in Old Charles about the Williamson schools up there, if this had been 5, 6, 7 years ago before the turf, Charles, how much of that field would be cut up right now like a pair of 10 scissors going through that stuff because all the rain and mud and
Mhm.
nastiness now, because with this turf they don't have to worry too much about the rain. It's more the lightning and the rain. But just talk about that a little bit. What these schools have invested in turf for their fields.
Well, look at that. I mean, mentioning the BGA Pearl. Pearl having that turf field was like, hey, we go where the turf is then. But I think something else to add to that is just the mindset of where the ACT was. So talking to so many of the different coaches throughout Williamson County, especially, was the idea that, hey, we're not gonna push beyond 8, 8:15, 8:30 because we can't have kids getting home at midnight beyond because hey, they got to wake up, they got to go take the ACT. We're just going to draw the line. And that was talking to Coach Rathbone at Page, Coach Graham at Centennial. Some of these games that were we're kind of excited, they're non-region games, but at the same time to not have them, I really think the ACT played more of a factor in that. But talking about the turf versus not turf, I think back to the last time Brentwood and Summit played. That was another one of these games rescheduled. They got to be a 2:30 contest on Saturday instead of their regular scheduled one. They made the call right at 8:15, like, hey, go home, get rested. We'll see you in the morning. And hey, let's play a Saturday afternoon game because that's pretty unique and special for the kids anyway. Plus, it's kind of like, hey, if you move on to the next level, this is what it's going to kind of be like. So that kind of feeling is pretty neat. But I remember 3, 4 years ago when it was midnight before we made the call. And it's just not possible anymore. It's like, can you imagine lining up? Okay, well, it's about we're gonna kick off now and it's 11:15. Like we just can't do that to the kids, the players, the anything. So the setup is great because we do have so much that turf setup now, and it just helps to lean into that. But I really think the ACT was one of the deciding factors for Friday night's madness out there.
mm.
And I appreciate so many of the schools following suit with like, hey, let's put the kids first and let them go out there. And then still talking to some of these kids that got to go take the ACT and then come back and it's like, hey, reset, go out and play football now too, by the way. What a mess of a Saturday. But what a unique experience on that too. I think that's where like we as the followers got to talk to some of these kids about how they were in the mindset, how you get refocused after such a big thing on the student side, and then to come back out on the athlete side. That's just so special. I applaud so many of these kids that were able to come back.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I'll say a real quick story. About 5 years ago when we had COVID going on, everybody had to wear the mask. Well, I went to Smyrna. They played a team out of county, and they had to cancel like that for lightning. So they came back in the morning about 9:30 in the morning. And I mean, it was hot now. It wasn't like this right now. It's about 95 degrees. Seemed like 90. We had to wear them masks. I was on the sidelines. Baby, I thought I was going to drop dead in the second half. They played the last three quarters, took about 2.5 hours to play, and I was going home, I remember, because my air conditioning had just went out of my car. And I mean, I had them windows flying. I was going about 70 miles down there. I said, I said, WD-40, put a WD-40 and get more air. I was going about 70 down that interstate trying to get back to Murrayburg with some cool air. And I remember coming back, man, I had to sit there about 20, 30 minutes to get cooled off. It was so hot. And people was wearing masks over there. And everybody was in the lines wearing masks too, but it was awful. It was awful that time, but that's one of the funny stories I can tell y'all about that. It was really hilarious looking back on it. But I mean, man, it was really funny. And this is before Smyrna had turf. They had a grass field. They didn't have turf. They had grass.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty hilarious. But just funny stories when you cover in high school sports. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Dude, no AC for fall football. No, thank you.
Well, when you got an older car like mine, that's what you got to do, man.
Yeah, you make do. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, right.
So the game that actually surprised me, and because I picked them as one of our pros picks, we'll get into later, but that Siegel versus Stewart's Creek game was one that really just kind of surprised me, because here, Stewart's Creek, had an impressive win, I guess, against Centennial. Well, I mean, you could say, they were probably favored for that one. And they
scored a lot of points, man. That was
what,
39-36, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they do score points. But then, and Siegel just, is Lebanon really that good? I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, they was 35-3 or something. So it's like Siegel goes in and beats Cookeville, and Cookeville is, everybody knows what kind of program they are. So it's like, are they down, or is Siegel really a team that, with them winning and with Rockville winning, it makes that whole, 4 and 5 seed, whatever, coming from, was it Region 6?
Region 3.
Yeah, whatever that one is. You're talking about a log jam now with all those, I don't want to say the lower ones, but we already know where Blackman, Riverdale, and Oakland are going to be seated. It's those remaining ones that they're all going to be fighting it out. And so I was like, well, that really kind of surprised me. And I'm actually really curious to see. I want to go watch that game. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to schedule it, but I definitely want to see Siegel and see how they're actually doing.
Well, I tell you what, Siegel's got about 30 seniors this year. They got a huge senior class.
Well,
So they really been pointing not really to this year totally, but see, they went 2-8 last year. They already won as many games as right now they've won all last year. They were 2-8, they didn't make the playoff. They was 2-8 last year. They weren't very good at all. They've got really good line play up front. Their line is really good.
Well, they got that big monster, don't they?
What's that now?
They got that big monster over there.
Yeah, number 77, Prince. Yeah. He's a junior now. He ain't no senior. He got one more year left. That dude's got one more year to play now. He'll be coming back next year, but they still got they've got 3 seniors, I think, up on their offensive line, and they've been playing for a while. And like I said, I don't know if they've been pointing to this year, but they're really excited about what they're doing over there. And I will tell you right now, I'll give them a nod against Smyrna, because I think they're going to beat Smyrna, especially being their first home game. Everybody's going to be fired up. I think they'll be 3. And I will tell you what, Riverdale better look out, because they might be on the outside. I think Riverdale might be on the outside looking in. They might be on that 4th or 5th spot. They ain't going to be a mile back in no playoff, because they've already lost to Blackman. And of course, they got to play Laverne this week. I think they'll beat them, but still, every week in this region up here in Rutherford County, you better be ready to play, because if you're not, you're going to get beaten. I don't care who you play. You better be ready to play them. You better be ready. I don't care if it's Laverne or whoever it is. I think myself, but
Rutherford County is pretty much as close. It's the SEC. Right.
You got all the 6A schools down in one region, so all of them are 6A in one of them. So it's going to be the next 4 years. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog fight to get in the playoffs.
week five's when Siegel gets Oakland, right? It's
I think
Smyrna,
so. Yeah,
Siegel,
I think
it's
that's right. I
Smyrna,
think that's right.
Oakland, Rockville, I think,
I
right?
think
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Hmm.
that's right.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah,
as I,
that is a unique one, and that's going to the Kreisky Bowl there. That's a unique one to see who came out on top of that one because that really does set the stage for how important these matchups are there too. So for Matt Kreisky and the guys and the Blaze to be able to come out there, that was a 10-10 game late in the third. It was truly decided right at the end. I think it was Jaden Lark that broke up a fourth down pass in the final setting there. I mean, Riverdale was pushing and trying to make something happen out of that. That was a great finish when you think about how chaotic our Friday
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
And I think that ended up
and
ending
Riverdale's
like around midnight. Yeah.
yeah, and Riverdale's coach was thinking about. I heard he was thinking later on. He said if he had scored, he was thinking about going for two
going for
like he did
you.
against Hope
Oh,
some
Yeah.
years ago and not playing the
Yeah.
overtime. He was going to
well,
go
you'd
in,
kind of
try
have
not to
to
play
because I
overtime.
mean those guys are meeting up in Thanksgiving every week here just because
That's
they're family. So
kind
that
of the
would be the
bragging
way
rights in
to
there.
come out on top.
Yeah, but if they won't talk, whoever wins, they ain't going to talk about Thanksgiving either. They'll
No,
celebrate
no,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
They won't eat no
The just
turkey.
to think that's a region matchup gets me every time, man.
You better
I
believe
loved
it,
it.
Daddy. There,
Yeah,
you better believe that's true. That's very true.
yeah.
All right, so let's do the recap of the pros picks. All right, so
Oh man.
I know I gave you guys a push on one of them because Centennial and Gallatin, they what was Centennial 1-3-0 is what they did.
Well, and called no con. That was three
They called it
zero.
no
It was still the
contest,
first
wasn't it?
quarter. First
Yeah.
quarter still. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so did they call it a no contest? So neither
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Okay, then I'm fine with that. So we're just gonna call that one a push. So you guys all win on
But that
that
was
one.
one of those games that we were kind of curious about because you
Yeah.
kind of get to measure both those teams pretty well out of that, and that's one of those casualties of the chaotic weather.
Yeah.
Gallatin is a place I actually really want to go up there. And Jeff, we were talking about
Mm.
that last
Oh
week.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I didn't even realize, but I guess is it Station Camp is in Gallatin also?
Yeah, that's in Sumner County. That's in Sumner County. Yeah. That's
They're,
in,
Speaking
are
of
they like
Station
close to
Camp,
each
it's in
other? Is that
Sumner
like
County.
a rivalry or whatever?
yeah,
Oh, well,
Station
it's in
Camp
Sumner County.
Springfield coming
Station
up,
Camp,
man. Yeah, it's a
Gallatin.
big
Yeah.
one.
They're
Yeah,
all in the same
Springfield, I'm
county. Yeah.
trying to get to that one. I reached out. I was like, I got to go see Spring, especially since, well, the next game that was on the thing was Springfield versus Portland, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
let me see who picked that one.
27-19 on that one was the
27-19.
final
I think you
Springfield
guys
boys.
all
Yeah.
chose Portland. I think you guys
Yeah.
all chose Portland. Oh no, you King, you chose Springfield.
I think so.
The
Remember,
other
so
guys chose
I
Portland.
actually technically my wife and I, we live in the city limits of Springfield. So I
Okay,
had to be a homebody.
there you go. There you go. So yeah, I actually am really curious. I want to go up there and see them.
Yeah.
I do.
But so you think about, yeah, a week four matchup that I'm looking at, no matter what, it doesn't matter any coverage area whatsoever. But that Springfield Station Camp game's kind of lined up. Someone's going to come out 4-0 out of that. And
Yeah.
those are two just fun teams to watch and just programs within the community. That's the kind of fun thing too. Like these are community schools and that's going to be a good game.
Station Camp. Well, what's it? I mean, if you well here, we can just go ahead and talk about it because is Springfield in 4A? They're Region 4, right? Are they
Let's
in?
see.
I'm not sure what class they are. I don't know.
Well,
I
I'm
got
just
it
trying to
all
think,
right
is
here.
it the Upperman, Macon? Yeah. Oh no, I'm thinking a different one. I'm thinking of Upperman and Macon County because
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Region 4 is there's a bunch of them in there. I don't know
Well,
what
that's
Springfield is
Region
in.
6 4A. That's Greenbrier, Liberty Creek, Pearl, Springfield, and White House.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a region matchup, but it's still at the same time thinking of where we are within the counties there. That's just one of those regional battles that's pretty exciting. But for either one of those teams to go to 4-0 with what we had coming back, what they were building on, that's kind of
Yeah.
exciting for either one of the programs.
Well, Springfield was one of those that they started out kind of rough, but then they went on a run, didn't they? Towards
Mhm.
they made a run in the playoffs.
Well, every game they had lost last year, when you think about it, was within a touchdown, really. So they had lost 5 games within a touchdown, and they made that run. They hammered a beach team in the
I know.
playoffs, and that was one of those that was like
That was
that
pretty
was
surprising.
I think that was the second round or something like that. That was the one that if we were talking back then, we would have been just blowing that game up because it was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
But they made it all the way in, challenged a Page team in the semifinals for Class 5A last year. Now going to Class 4A. That's a team there. They got some players. Caden, gosh, what is it? Kaysen, I think is the QB, but he's just a junior. There's Cobbins is a sophomore. He's the one that's getting all those great looks from all the Power Fives. There's some guys out there. Jaden Hurst, a big senior. They are some playmakers. Springfield is a contender, I feel like.
They're in 4A.
Hmm.
Man,
Hmm.
that 4A is just so, man, you talk about, I mean, 6A is obviously 6A too, but so
The
many
fun
competitions.
matchup to think about, I think, is the end of this month. I think it's the 26th. Pearl Cone and Springfield go head to head, and
That's
that's
the
where we
one I'm
kind
trying
of
to go to. They play
that's the
at
one.
Springfield. Yes. Yeah.
That's the circled matchup, I think, for that
Yeah.
entire classification when you really
Yeah.
think about it now.
That
Yeah.
should be a good game right there. That'll be a good game right there.
Hmm.
That'll be
Hmm.
a ball game.
Yeah, I'm trying to reach out. So if you have any connections, King, try to work it out. I want to get up there and film
I'm
that.
sure he knows AD over at Springfield. He probably hook you
Well,
up now.
I could probably help out
He
there.
probably hook you
Yeah.
up somewhere.
I mean, it's not like you just said it's in your backyard, right?
Yeah, that's I wish I could cover more Springfield games because they're about less than 10 minutes from my house.
There you go. All right. So going back to our pros, all right. Um, you guys all went 2-1. All right. I gave you the push, and King got the Springfield, but then you lost the Riverdale one, and the other guys chose Blackman.
Yeah.
Reddy actually, with the score being, 17-10, really low scoring, he predicted, and his total combined was 45 points. So he went 3-1 on the season. He's at 9-2.
Oh,
King,
dang.
you're at 8-2, and Jeff, you're at 6-3. So it's right. Oh, don't. It's okay, man. You'll get
Yeah,
it.
we got. I told you I don't pick no ball game. I told you I don't pick games. I write about them. I don't pick them. I don't get no picking stuff.
Well, in that case, we got to keep picking. Just let's add two or three more each week now.
All right, we'll do that one. We'll do that one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Hey, whoever plays Boyd Buchanan, I'll take Boyd Buchanan. How about that? Whoever plays him, I'll take him every week. That'll be a
Just
win.
trying to get the one. Yeah, we'll give you one.
That'll be a
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah. You could pick the Macaulay game every week. How's that sound?
Yeah, Macaulay or Bay Macaulay. Yeah, give
that'll
Macaulay every
work.
week. Yeah.
So this week you guys got them right, and so let's talk about the first one. This is one I was talking about was it's a Region 4, and again this one has like Macon County and Stone Memorial. They're undefeated, and so it's Upperman versus at Stone Memorial. So Jeff, I don't know how much you know about those, but what did you get? Who you got on that?
I don't know much about Stone Memorial. I know they're in Cross, but I don't know what they used to have a good basketball program. I don't know much about their football program. I saw where they're 3-0. Upland usually is really strong too. They've got a strong community presence over in Baxter. They support about all their sports and basketball. They've got the McWilliams coaching over there. They've coached for a longer time and stuff. But I'm going to go with the road team. I'm going to go with Upperman over Stone Memorial. I'm going to take the Bees to beat beat Stone Memorial this week. I'm going to
All
go with
right,
the
all
upset.
right. I'm going with the old Stone Memorial. They got a senior quarterback, Potter. I think he's got maybe 12 or 13 touchdowns on the year already. And I think looking at their schedule, looking at how they've been able to score a little bit, I think, at 3-0, I could see them going 4-0, especially they played a Coalfield team right to overtime, and that was kind of unique. But I think they put some points up. That should be a fun one, but I think Stone Memorial for me.
All right, all right. And Reddy will give us his picks later this week when he recovers, right? Well, the next one we have, and this is in your backyard, is you can go on this one, King. Brentwood at Page. I chose this one because honestly, I don't know how to read either one of these teams.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how to read it. I mean, it's your backyard, and I mean,
I'll give you a little breakdown. This will help Jeff on his picks here then too when you think about it. So pay attention. So I watched I got to see the Brentwood Summit game. That was the Region 6 6A opener, obviously, for both teams. And there's a quarterback for Brentwood, Gavin Strang. He's a Lausanne transfer, just a sophomore, but he's 6'5". And there's a playmaker for Brentwood named Parker Emerson. He scored 4 touchdowns, caught all 3 of Strang's TDs, ran in another, just a do-all football player, just a stud of a dude. And so they ended up winning, I think it was 35-7 was the final over Summit. Um, But this Brentwood team there, I don't think we know how good they can be
Yeah.
because they're still figuring it out. Strang missed most of the preseason because of an illness. And so he was thrown in. They won that first week. I think it was against Smyrna. And then they had to play Brentwood Academy.
Yeah.
And Brentwood Academy just put on a show. But the drive that stands out to me was the end of the BA game at Brentwood, and Strang led a 12 play 80-yard drive, and they scored a touchdown to end the game and just got some momentum. And they got some momentum on Saturday, yesterday, with this win over Summit. I really think their ceiling's pretty high. Unfortunately, they have to go into a Page team, and this Page team didn't get a play. That one tenth of their season was already robbed here in the regular season, and they are loaded. They're contenders in 5A until somebody knocks them out. But I really think they are the team. And unfortunately for Brentwood, they got some momentum, but I think they have to stack up against a massive offensive line. So many running backs, so many weapons, and a healthy Knight Wilson in the secondary. That Page team's scary, man. There's too much there. And for the Bruins, I think you're going to be able to learn from it. It's going to make them a little better and still be that maybe 2 or 3 seed out of that region. But I think there's just too much for Page.
I bet you that atmosphere is going to be incredible too. I mean,
First, the
I
first
went,
meeting since 2002 between these two as well.
and
So think about how
Wow.
close these two schools are.
yeah,
They
in
haven't played
proximity,
since
right? Yeah.
2002.
Yeah. So, I mean,
That's
I
amazing.
went
That's
to,
unbelievable.
went up there last year twice just because it's
Mhm.
like, it's an incredible environment, right?
Yeah,
Incredible
yeah.
environment. And so, but yeah, Brentwood's right around the corner from them, not too
And
far.
it'll be the home opener for the Rudderville boys. So be careful out there for the Page fans. They get fun, they get loud. That's going to be a cool atmosphere. Williamson County games are just they're fun. We talk about Rutherford County, we talk about the different SAC battle kind of things. Just those atmospheres out there.
Yeah.
Wilco does it well, and
Yeah.
Page does it fantastically.
Yeah.
And I think that's one that is a circled game, but I think the Patriots just have too many weapons.
All right. Uh, Jeff, what do you got?
I was going to ask Charles. Charles, do you think Page should make another run to Chattanooga this year?
I got them penciled in.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
You mean you had put it in neat yet?
Yeah, no. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I thought they had a quarterback a few years ago. What happened? He went to college. Where did he end up going to school? That he was really
Oh,
good that
that's
couple of years
well,
ago.
we just watched his bigger brother play against UT yesterday.
Okay, I
McNamara.
wasn't sure it was.
Jake's one of the younger ones, but remember, this is they've made it 4 straight years. They actually have a guy now too, and I'm pretty excited about it. Like their offense, we've known them from their defense. They had what 7 shutouts in a row to start the
Last
year
year, yeah,
last year,
they
and the
couldn't. Nobody
defense
scored
is
on them last year.
defense is legit, but this offense behind that big offensive line, Jake Rathbone, coach's son, he's headed to what is it, Central Arkansas, I think, but he wants to go there because he could immediately make an impact.
Oh
Remember,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Dad's a former All-American lineman, so he knows what it's like. Hey, you want to go to a program, you want to play from the start. Jake's started every game since, and he
yeah.
has that opportunity to play 60 high school football games like Eric Hazard from last year, which is insane. How do you
Yeah.
That
even
is. That's
fathom
crazy. Yeah.
playing 60 high school football games? I love it. And
Well, there were some kids at Maryville several years ago. They went through their whole high school career, didn't lose a ball game. They won 74 in a row.
yep,
Well, they finally got
that's
beat 5 years.
oof,
There's some of them, they went through their whole high school career, went 60-0, won 4 straight states. You believe that? 60-0 now. Never lose a high school game your whole
yeah.
high school career. 60-0, four
These are
straight
just
regions.
these are records you could only match.
Yeah,
They're not going to be beaten.
you can't top it. You going to match
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
can't do that. But no, I'll go with Page in that ball game. I say at home that especially their first home game, they gonna be ready about like Siegel Friday night. But and
Oof.
now you talking about titles. Last year Eagles over here in baseball they won 4 in a row now, and the only other
Hmm.
school to do it in Tennessee is Farragut, and they did it twice. They just
Yep.
got through doing it again this
Yep.
last year. So you can't top. I think they've won about 40 some odd postseason games in a row. Eagle baseball had, but you can't top Burns. Some of them guys, seniors, they got four rings now for the high school career, one state every year. You can't top that. I mean, ain't no way you only do tie that. You can't break it. So
Yep. Yep.
So were you talking about, did you say Seagull baseball?
No, Eagleville baseball. Eagleville.
Oh,
Eagle.
Eagleville. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Eagleville.
Single
Yeah,
A.
no, you're
Single A.
right. They have
They
a
won the
great
fourth
program
straight
going on.
single A championship four in a row. Four
Seagull's
straight.
hosting the state tournament.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, they play in Middle Tennessee Christian, Shane. Oh, it's
Yeah,
in Murfreesboro. That's true. True, very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very true.
Well, since we kind of talked about Siegel, so Jeff, go ahead. So this is this tiebreaker. Smyrna at Siegel. No idea how this one's going to turn out. So the score, I think, is going to be really interesting. So who do you got?
I think Siegel's going to win. I don't know. I'm going to go with the kind of a margin game though. I'm going to say Siegel 24 and Smyrna 10. I'll say 24 to 10.
All
Siegel's going to
right.
win two
All
touchdowns.
right. A little bit more, I think. Okay. What did you say, King? What do you got?
Well, and that's, I mean,
It's a tough
unfortunately, we're
one,
gonna have to
right?
go to the scoring of this too, and it's tough because thinking of Smyrna coming off that game against Oakland, I know that game was called a little early. I think it was 35-0 was that actual
Yeah, yeah.
score, but I'm leaning toward the Stars as well too, and I think I'm gonna have to go that route because I'm thinking about Smyrna playing. I think they beat a Hendersonville team, and I wanted to see what Hendersonville was going to be like against Page this week. I don't get to see that. So I'm
Mm,
going back to the Brentwood game, Smyrna falling to Brentwood 14-13. And having
Yeah.
seen Brentwood a little bit, I think I could kind of gauge a little bit where I might be. But I think I'm going to go with Siegel, and I think it's going to be that lower scoring side. And I'm going to go with how about a 20-13.
all right, that works. Where are you guys going this week?
Hmm.
Jeff, where are you? I mean, do you have
I
a
do not. I do
plan?
not know yet. I don't know where I'm going yet. And send me the side, but I'll be doing. I'll be doing soccer and volleyball. Is going to come along. I do. We can do that too. We get mid ten Tuesday night volleyball. Get you hooked up. We get you in that gym. You can take some video of the volleyball match you want to. So we get you hooked up. We
What
get a
about what about you, Chop?
volleyball happening pretty soon.
Do you have a place you're
So
going to?
yeah, I'm trying to think back on where I mean, obviously there's it's just kind of hard to figure out all of them. I think that Brentwood Page game just because that's my Williamson County go-to. The games I'm watching closely is I'm actually curious. CPA is hosting a Archbishop Moeller team. I forget
That's
what
out of
state
Ohio.
they're
They're
from.
Ohio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ohio.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
Ohio. Yeah.
So that's a unique
Yep.
one. I'm just kind of paying attention to. We mentioned the Station Camp Springfield game.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be if I could just pick a game to go watch, I'd do that. But the other one is Pearl Cone at Oakland.
Yeah.
Pearl obviously coming back off a really tough outing, and this is an 0-3 team now going to Oakland, and yeah, they're not 0-3. That when you think
No.
about it, this is one of the best teams in the state, and they just haven't won a game yet. And that's still it's kind of mind-boggling for me. So those are the four games I'm paying attention to. The one I'm going to likely is that Brentwood Page one because that's my Williamson County one.
Yeah, and their season, I mean, talking about Pearl County, I mean, they still have some tough games after Oakland, right?
Oof,
They got to
yeah.
play the region schedule this
Hmm.
round.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And
They got to
so,
play the
Well, and
region
we
schedule.
mentioned, they're going to go to Springfield. That's
yeah,
going to be a great game too.
yeah,
Whether Springfield comes out on top against Station Camp or not, that's going to decide the region. Yeah.
yeah. And did Pearl just move up this year? Did they move up a
Moving around.
division?
It wasn't this year, was it last year? Yeah, I'm trying to
Because they
think
were in
now.
four,
Yeah.
were they 4A last year or 3A?
Um, let's see. When they won the title 2 years ago, was that the 3A or the 4A championship? Now I'm going to have to think about all those
I
now.
just remember them playing Marshall because I was at the Marshall game
Marshall County.
week 10,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Hmm.
that was for the division, and Marshall was 4A last year.
Let's
But then
see.
they're not playing each other this year, so I didn't know if Pearl come
Well,
champion.
it's last time when they did them all. It's a 4 year deal this time. It's 4 years
Okay.
Let's
where they're
see.
class and region.
Oh, they've been 4A for a few years. Yeah,
Are they
yeah.
still
Okay.
4A or did
Hmm.
they? So they just
Correct.
moved different regions or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the big shift we're talking about for the Springfield game is Springfield coming into that region then.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the unique pathway I think of, and this goes back to the first show I think we ever did was the Class 3A setup because I mentioned a dark horse and I still think of a Fairview team potentially there because
Yeah.
East Nashville down to 2A, Pearl's up in that 4A realm. 3A is that kind of unique one where it's tough to pick who's going to come out because some of the better teams are somewhere else now. So that's kind of the open one, I feel like.
I got to give a shout out to Reddy because he keeps talking about Grundy County, right? And they're undefeated. I just have to look. I'm like, that's
Oh,
Reddy. That's his dark horse, Grundy County. So he's not here to talk about it, but we'll get him back on. He'll talk about it next week. So,
They're a yellow jacket too. Huh. All
oh,
right.
yeah, yeah. There's a guy in yellow jackets, ain't they? A lot of yellow jacket
Yeah.
teams. I don't know why.
Oh man, they're putting up points too. I didn't know that.
yeah,
44 nothing, 64-6, and 57 to nothing. All
Yeah.
right.
they've only been scored on what, 6 points?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's like what, 150 to 6.
Oof,
That's a good
gee,
ratio.
okay. Yeah, not bad. They've racked up they're outscoring opponents 165 to 6 right now.
Yeah, that's not bad. You can do some
Okay. All
football.
right. So all right, he
Yeah,
knows some stuff here. He's got a heck of a dark horse there.
yeah. Yeah. So, hey, well, can't wait. This is going to be a great weekend, especially as we get rolling into the season, right?
Mhm,
Teams are starting to become who they are, right? I mean,
exactly.
put Pearl Cone on their thing. We all think that we kind of know who they are. They're not, their record doesn't emulate it. But you
And
get
I
these
hope
teams,
hopefully have better weather. Hope we have better weather this Friday night. No lightning or storm. They have some clear way. Don't worry about all these delays and everything. Be just get a
Mhm.
yeah,
game.
well, clear weather's supposed to be on the way.
It'd
It's
be
supposed to
nice.
be
It'd be
coming.
nice with it, Charles. Ain't got to
I'd
come back Saturday and finish game. Do you don't like
yeah.
that, do you?
Yeah.
I'd rather not give up my entire Saturday.
Right, right.
Because that trickles right into my Sunday then because I gotta my Sunday's my Saturday and I just kind of want to watch some football too,
Right.
but maybe
Well,
not just high school. There were some games I wanted to pay attention to on Saturday.
yeah. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for the show or for coming together and talk. I can't wait till, like I said, as the season's rolling along, we're starting to get to really the nitty gritty.
Well, we're starting to get down to region play too. That's what's fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
We get
Region.
to sprinkle in on some of those already. And that was this week seeing some of those games that just had to be played.
Yeah.
I just the chaos of the weather. I don't envy any of the admins having to make calls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. The ADs and the
Mm-mm.
administration got their money's worth this week doing making calls. They got their money's worth, no
Yeah.
doubt.
I'm just glad we were able to get some games in, as wacky and as crazy as they were. I mean,
Yeah. Agreed.
I'd hate to be a kid preparing all week and then not being able to, like you said, Paige didn't even get a chance to play.
Well,
Yep.
and that's goes into the conversation of like, are you going to come out too antsy in this next week now too?
Yeah,
Like, are
right.
your jitters are so much like I'm so amped up to go out and actually perform now. So there's so many different things, and it's just a headache for our coaches and our staffs out there. And I'm curious though. Friday's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it will be. Yep.
So, all right. Well, hey, if you like our shows, please like us and contact Jeff Big Nasty through, well, I guess you can through him to the Murfreesboro Post. And
Murfreesboro Post.
yeah,
Yep.
and Charles, you're going to have to put your subtext King Charles, right?
Oh my gosh!
At
Wow.
Williamson, at the Williamson Herald. So, gentlemen, thanks a lot. We can't wait to get together next week. And our buddy Keith, I'm not Jeff Reedy, I'm Keith Reddy, right? From Courier. He'll be on next week. So, this is Coach Lombardi saying, Faith Family Football. See you next week.